This will create millionaires. The Bitcoin halving is right around the corner, and there is an emerging crypto sector that can see 10 to 100x gains. It's time to discover crypto. In just under 90 days, we're going to have a Bitcoin halving. Combined with the approval of Bitcoin spot ETFs, this is going to spark the biggest bull run in crypto's history. In this video, I'm going to be going over the most important products that you need to be paying attention to in order to capitalize off this Bitcoin halving. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for developing generational wealth. And every 210,000 blocks, Bitcoin's block rewards are reduced by 50%. This is known as the Bitcoin halving. Now, this of course takes place about every single 4 years. And the next Bitcoin halving is on pace to happen around April 19th of 2024. Once these rewards are halved, there's going to be a 2x increase in demand for ASIC miners. And this could cause a massive supply shock in the semiconductor industry. Now, what does that mean? Well, of course, if we have spot Bitcoin ETFs, BlackRock and your largest asset management groups in the world are accumulating hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on the daily, it's basic economics right there. As the demand goes through the roof and supply gets cut in half, prices tend to go up. Now, these miners are the computers that run on semiconductors. They're known as ASICs. And the increased demand is going to put computing power at a premium. And that's what we want to pay attention to. Because as the price of GPU cycles increase, the question to be asking yourself right now isn't should I be buying Bitcoin? It's which projects are poised to benefit the most from all of this? And the answer is DePin, decentralized physical networks. DePin refers to infrastructure projects using tokens to help coordinate and incentivize activity on their distributed network. Now, the project you're most familiar with is probably going to be Render, which we're going to get to in just a second. But the idea is to offer tokens as a reward for user activity and for contributing to the infrastructure supply of a given network. So let's go over some of the biggest movers in this space. Of course, our first example is Render Network. Render is the world's first decentralized GPU rendering platform. It launched all the way back in 2017, but during this bear market, Render has not only built to provide infrastructure and resources for a wide range of these tasks, but it's exploded in value, covering everything from basic rendering to artificial intelligence. So if you've ever used something like ChatGPT or DALL-E or any other AI-powered tools, hopefully not on your homework, Render is going to be offering a Web3-based competitor to those centralized players. All of those tools are powered by GPU processors, and that's where Render steps in, because they're going to offer a Web3-based competitor to all of the centralized elitists out there like Amazon and Google. And when processing power gets expensive after the halving, which it will, you can bet that that's going to force people who need GPU power to go looking for cheaper alternatives. And that's, of course, going to drive a lot of demand onto the Render network, as well as 2 secret projects that I'll mention later in this video. Now, this, of course, can make Render token a lot more valuable, which we've actually seen over the last 365 days. But the next project I want to touch on is going to be Hivemapper, because there's still a ton of potential in this industry. The Hive network is a decentralized version of Google Maps. It offers a lot of the same functionality just from a decentralized Web3 source. Participants in this network provide street data to populate maps via their special Hivemapper dashcams. So if you have any side jobs like Uber or Uber Eats, this could actually add a lot of value to what you do. Because these drivers are then paid out in rewards in the native form of Honey, which is the token simply for driving or walking around with one of these cameras. And they are just simply contributing that data collected from those cameras to the Hivemapper network. Now again, if computing power becomes scarce, we could see a lot more attention and use being driven to decentralized alternatives like Hivemapper. Now finally, I think it would be a mistake not to mention decentralized storage here. There are several big players in the space. In Web3, you have Filecoin, SORJ, you have Arweave, and that is just to name a few. But the one I definitely am going to want to highlight is Arweave. You see, Arweave network bills itself as being a lot like Bitcoin, but for data. They're offering the marketplace of a permanent and decentralized web and data storage system that is built on an open ledger. Arweave uses a native token called AR, or R, and it allows users access to the payment censorship resistant storage of information. Whew, what a tongue twister. All you really need to know is that this gives the power of the data and yourself back to the user. Now with AR, miners earn this token by proving that they have been randomly verifying data stored on that network. Now, I've saved this sector of DePin for last because I think that decentralized data storage is going to be one of the biggest areas of the DePin to explode in the next bull run. There's absolutely no question that what they're offering to the market is going to be in high demand, especially as we see a supply crunch in semiconductors and a takeoff for the demand of computing power. So you're definitely going to want to keep your eye on this project and its competitors. Now, even though I chose to highlight Arweave, there's honestly going to be a lot of different important ones to watch. Now, the one thing I really want to point out here is that the majority of these DePin projects are on one network, and that's going to be Solana, or at least associated with Solana in some significant way. DePin is a huge piece to their strategy as an ecosystem. Now, that makes sense because Solana is the first layer 1 to ever launch their own phones. And this is definitely going to pay off for them very well in 2024. Now, this has been a massive bet that they have made, and they have gone out of their way to incentivize all of these DePin projects to come to their ecosystem. And there is no signs of that going to stop. So even though Solana is already one of the largest projects in the top 10, you're still going to want to pay attention to them. Now, my favorite project out of all of these DePins is going to be Render. Not only do they have ties to Apple, which is releasing their brand new headgear AR virtual reality, but that's why I'm going to give you a gem that I've been watching for months. Now, if you guys are in the Discord or you're already a member of this channel, you would have seen the exclusive content that we've put out. But a little competitor to Render that might have a ton more upside potential is going to be Clore.ai. Now, I'm not going to dive into it. I want you guys to do your own research. But the supply crunch of semiconductors that we have seen and the need for more computing power, plus now with the Bitcoin halving that's going to increase the demand for all of these GPUs, this is going to cause market participants to start looking for cheaper alternatives. And there are a lot of Web3 projects that are going to offer those services. But of course, let me know in the comments, what projects did I miss? Are there better DePin projects out there? And if so, which one should I cover next? Because I'm definitely going to want to continue to educate myself and you guys and know what's out there. That way we can prepare to capitalize off this huge opportunity, especially as we move into a bull run. In the meantime, I'll see you guys at the top.